wanted it, I deliver it. Welcome into this episode of Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. All about the Falcons rebuild. It can be nice, quick, and easy, and completely painless. Kind of like how the Chicago Bears did it. Because in this episode, I'm going to take the Ben Johnson approach. What is the Ben Johnson approach? Rebuilding the organization from the ground up only by one thing, being a ridiculous leader of men and having a good, solid NFL pro-style offensive scheme. Now, like I said, we're not going to get Ben Johnson, so we can take the Ben Johnson approach without the actual coach. And I'm going to break it down, like I said. But before I do that, got to ask you guys to do something for me real quick. If you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. But if you are subscribed and you're not getting the notifications, what are you doing? Hit that bell icon. Make sure you select the all option because Atlanta Falcons news never sleeps. And trust me, when the Fire Raheem Morris push noti comes through, you're going to want to know that we are live because we will be live for that. Trust me. Before we start, I think it's important to say, I'm going to put this out there. I'm not going to put fire the coaches in this plan. That's obvious. So I'm not going to be like, step one, fire Raheem Morris. We know Raheem's gone. We know he's not going to be here, and neither is Zac Robinson. So this plan is going to be from the point that we have fired Raheem Morris heading into the 2026 season. Are you with me so far? Good. Let's get into the plan. I like to call it the quick rebuild. Step one, hire Klint Kubiak. I've seen enough. He's the best offensive coach on the market for this upcoming hiring cycle. He is by far and away the best thing about the Seattle Seahawks offense, which, by the way, statistically speaking, is top 10 in a multitude of categories. Total yards per game, 352.5. That's ninth. Passing yards per game, also ninth. Running yards per game, 18th. Ooh, not so good. But they don't have Bijan Robinson. Points per game, they score, and they score a lot. Fourth in the NFL at 29.2 points per game. Now, remember when I said we have to take the Ben Johnson approach. What is the Ben Johnson approach? Well, it starts by being a leader of men. We haven't seen that necessarily from Klint Kubiak, but I haven't heard anything negative about it. But what do the very best offensive coordinators do in the league? They lean on a strong run game with heavy uses of play action. Well, what do we know about the Falcons? Way over there on the left on this chart. They don't use really any play action, but they use a lot of motion. That's not fooling anybody. Oh, wait a minute. Where are the Seahawks and the Bears? A lot of play action, a lot of motion. And notice all of the best offenses in the league, by the way, the Rams, the Colts, the Broncos, who are starting to play a little bit better on offense, all of them have two things in common. One, all really good records. Two, lots of play action, lots of motion. Because when you have a talent like Jonathan Taylor or like a talent like Bijan Robinson, having defenses bite on the run fake is important. So we can sit here all day long and just kind of question what is going on with Zac Robinson, but the truth is he's not nearly as creative or as efficient as some of these other candidates that are coming in and other head coaches in the NFL. It's just the reality of the situation. So I would hire Klint Kubiak immediately. Step two of this awesome plan. Say goodbye to Kirk and say goodbye to Pitts. Mostly because of the money. In fact, I would say 99% of this is because of the money. If you cut Kirk and Pitts, or not even cut, if you cut Kirk and you just let Kyle Pitts walk, you'd be saving almost $46 million against the cap space for 2026, which currently the Falcons are like 27th in the NFL in 2026 cap space. If you get rid of Kirk and you get rid of Pitts, there's $46 million instantly. But I'm not stopping there. I'm trimming out the edges. I'm cutting out the fat for three other players as well. Unfortunately, Leonard Floyd, you're a journeyman at this point. You know, you've had a really good NFL career, but I'm in a role with Caden Ellis, James Pierce Jr., and Jalen Walker. That's a $10 million cap savings. David Onyemata, I know there's a lot of people that don't want to get rid of David Onyemata, but I'll explain coming up in a little bit why I'm parting ways with him. $11.6 million in cap space. $2.5 million from Jamal Agnew, who proved to have one of his worst games, and he's been absolutely atrocious, by the way, this entire season on special teams. Your new cap savings amount is $70 million. Think of what you could buy with $70 million. Now, you could go out and sign a bunch of players that are lower cost but equal up to $70 million, or you could spend a good chunk of money on a couple of free agents that are really, really good at their positions. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is because I've highlighted two players that I think would fit perfectly on this Falcons defensive line coming up here right after I tell you about our friends over at Factor. Listen, everything has changed, the weather including. And Factor, I get it. There's times when you're just busy with back-to-school schedules, routine, shorter days. Finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I personally love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. You get more variety and more meals, choosing from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. You can also support your wellness goals and enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats. There's a reason that 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier lifestyle. You can feel the difference no matter what your routine is. Eat smart at factormeals.com/FalconsChat50off and use code FalconsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code FalconsChat50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Third step, and this is why I told you it all kind of bleeds together. I'd sign John Franklin Myers or DJ Reader. Who are these guys specifically? John Franklin Myers currently plays for the Broncos. He's a defensive lineman who is a combo run stopper and pass rusher. And DJ Reader, you're a little more savvy veteran that pretty much just stops the run. He is the traditional nose tackle, 330-pound big boy on that trench on the defensive line. And like I said, they're completely different players. John Franklin Myers is going to cost you a little bit more. He's a little bit more expensive in the ballpark of about $20 million for his next contract. And Reader is going to cost you about what David Onyemata is going to cost you at $11 million. Now, here's the reason I say you could get rid of David Onyemata and sign the likes of either John Franklin Myers or DJ Reader. Let's just take a look at their numbers. They play completely different positions, but they're both on the defensive line. Reader, nose tackle, plug on the defensive line. He's not going to sack the quarterback, but the Falcons don't necessarily need that. John Franklin Myers is pretty good at stopping the run, pretty good at getting to the quarterback. He's not nearly as stout against the run as DJ Reader is, but can also add that extra element. He's kind of the hybrid do-it-all defensive lineman. So the reason that I say you could sign either one of these guys is because, one, they're both very talented, and two, both excel against the run. Finding plugs on that defensive line is going to shore up that run stopping, which has been a major problem for the Falcons the entire season. Now, there have been a lot of bigger problems other than the Falcons not being able to stop the run, but majority of that is coaching, and we've already established that Klint Kubiak's our next head coach. So this is my step 3, and if you like the plan so far, if you're liking the rebuild plan, type Y for yes, and if you hate it or you're just like, not my cup of tea, type your N for no. But I would love to hear why you put your N for no down in the comment section down below. Step 4, also in free agency, by the way, sign Jamel Dean. Can you do this immediately? Because Mike Hughes is old, he gets cooked far too often, and I thought against the Jets, he showed his age. And Jamel Dean is young. Jamel Dean is hot. Pause. Jamel Dean is playing hot. And he's playing like one of the best corners in the NFL. It's not even just like he's really good at his position. No. He's playing like one of the best in the NFL. 28 tackles, 3 picks, and 6 PBUs. He's like one of the lone bright spots on that Tampa Bay defense. And I get it. Poaching from another team, especially one of your division rivals, is always tough. But if you offered him big-time money, you got to go where the paper is. He's very familiar already with the division. And like I said, playing like one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. By the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also drafted a kid named Benjamin Morrison from the University of Notre Dame. He could take over Dean's spot if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers decided to move off of the likes of Dean. But going into their last game against the Arizona Cardinals, he had played 10 games, 31 tackles, 7 PBUs, and 3 INTs, which I now realize means that one of our earlier graphics was wrong. But that's all right. These are the accurate or more accurate numbers, I would say, heading into where we're at right now. So, looking at the Falcons' cornerback depth chart already, I think it's kind of proven that Bowman, Terrell, they're the future. Bowman's going to be your starting nickel for the next couple of years, no matter what. Terrell, he's got plenty more years as an Atlanta Falcon. You could make the argument that you wanted to play Kobe Bryant on that outside corner spot, which is fine. I'm okay with that. D. Alford's also another option for the Dirty Birds, but he's more of a slot corner as well, more of a rotational corner. So I would go out and get a for sure thing. You really want to beef up that other outside cornerback 2 spot, Dean is your guy, 1,000%. And then comes to the hardest step of the entire plan. Step 5. In the draft Jayden Maiava. I've seen enough from this kid. I think he's going to be a hell of an NFL player. Maybe not year 1. And I'm not asking or advocating to get rid of Michael Penix Jr. That's not what this is. But you would be foolish to sit here and say Michael Penix needs no backup plan. We can roll into next year with Penix because it was a fluke injury. There are no longer fluke injuries. 5 season-ending injuries in 8 years. That's not fluke. That's a pattern. And Jayden Maiava, he is one of the best college football quarterbacks in the league. 66% completion percentage, almost 3,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, 8 picks. Guy can sling the rock. There's a lot of great measurables, tangibles, and intangibles about this player. Like, for the first part of it all, 6'4", 230 pounds. Got the size. Lightning fast release with quick game execution. A Lincoln Riley calling card. Now, I will say this. When the pocket collapses, sloppy footwork. That can be fixed, especially with the likes of a guy like Klint Kubiak. Not with Zac Robinson. If you drafted any quarterback and Zac Robinson was still your OC, there's almost a guarantee there will be no development. But the reason I'm making this move is because my worry is with Penix's health. Even if Penix is able to go week 1, under a new head coach and under a new coordinator, the thought will still loom. How long until the next season-ending injury? You've got to have a backup plan. You've got to be able to supplant Michael Penix Jr. if you needed to. And again, I don't think that anybody should be starting week 1 over Penix if he's ready to go. You keep Penix, you dump Kirk, you draft Maiava, and you have a backup plan. It's the calling card of any good GM. Fontenot, looking at you. Grade my rebuild. A, B, C, D, or F. Not to toot my own horn here, but I think this is pretty good. B+, A-. Either way, you let me know down in the comment section down below. Give me your grade. It'll be the pinned comment of today's video. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button, like today's video. Rise up, Dirty Birds fans, and be cool.